objections are a normal part of the sales process. And we're taught as salespersons that you need to address objections. And typically we have a playbook where one of the sections is objection handling, and it's got a list of all the potential objections that come up and the response that you're supposed to give to that. And you're trained to, once the objection comes up, restate the objection and then pivot to whatever the defined response is. And there is some value in that, but I think you end up answering more objections than you likely should if you do one thing when the objection comes up. Every time you build this into muscle memory, and that is the client states the objection and you immediately say, okay, help me to understand what your goal is. Help me to understand why you need that. Help me to understand how you're thinking about us. And through that simple process, what you're doing is you're essentially, in a very comfortable way, calling the person who's giving the objection out and making them justify why they're bringing up that objection in the first place. And generally, it falls into three categories. It's a legitimate objection, or it's someone who is not quite understanding, you're not quite connecting with them on whatever it is that you're talking about, or they aren't unfriendly in the deal. You're either threatened by you or they're like another vendor and they're just trying to throw sand in your gears. So, how does this manifest in a real life situation? Let's say it's a particular, feature that they're looking for, and they say, yeah, I'm seeing it. I don't see I don't see X feature. And then simple, help me to understand why you need that feature again. How is that going to help you? And then that forces them to articulate the need, and then you'll determine if the need is legitimate or not. At the end of the sales process in the negotiations, things will come up, and they may want to reduce the volumes or reduce the terms of service or something along those lines. It's simple. Help me to understand what your goal is here, and make them articulate that back to you so that you get a true understanding of whether it's a legitimate objection or not, and then you know exactly how to address it. I think the important thing is, based on my experience, a third of objections tend to fall away once you ask that help me to understand question. Help me to understand what you're hoping to accomplish here. And then, people think about it and realize they haven't quite thought it through. So, no, never mind. Or they're going to give you something that you really will be able to pivot on. So build that into muscle memory. Help me to understand.